All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Indianapolis Colts in tonight's video, folks. Because the Indiana Pacers just won Game 7 over the New York Knicks, I wanted to make this Colts video because it really appears to me that there's only two groups of people that understand the Indianapolis Colts or who understand Anthony Richardson, because, this is a team that they didn't make too many crazy moves in the offseason. They've still got a bunch of cap space. They've got $25.7 million in cap space remaining. But it's one of those like middle of the pack teams on paper. But when you deeper dive into it, it's like, oh, they're like, they're waiting and itching and oozing to break out into this star caliber team. And like with the draft, Latu, Mitchell, they did get a little bit of press there, but like, you had Gardner Minshew last year after Anthony Richardson goes down with an early injury, and they just kind of get forgotten about. And Gardner Minshew, ends up making a Pro Bowl, and they have this top 10 offense, and they're like a player or two away from like literally making the playoffs with Gardner Minshew as the quarterback. And it was just such a crazy successful season for the Indianapolis Colts. And up until they picked up Latu, who's like actually probably the best defense player in the entire NFL draft, and Adonai Mitchell, nobody's really talking about it. But as I was just saying, like the only two groups of people who understand the Indianapolis Colts are, obviously Colts fans and Florida Gator fans. So welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Indianapolis Colts in today's video. But before we do, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. We post at least one Colts video every single week. So Colts fans, if we could try and get this video to 100 likes, that would mean the absolute world to me. So in 2023, the Indianapolis Colts like pretty much almost made the playoffs. Like they nearly made the playoffs with backup quarterback Gardner Minshew and the NFL's 28th ranked scoring defense. Jonathan Taylor, the star running back, missed 7 games because of injuries. Anthony Richardson was very promising in the little action that he saw, but he obviously got injured a month into the season. So yeah, it was cool and it was fun for like a month, but after that it was just very underwhelming because it's like, damn, dude, you draft Anthony Richardson inside the top 5 and you're looking forward to this season and he has a season-ending injury and it just sucks. But Gardner Minshew led this team almost to the freaking playoffs once again. So Anthony Richardson accounted for 7 touchdowns to just 1 interception. But keep in mind, he only played in 4 games before a season-ending shoulder injury. Now, the Colts technically do have a little over $25 million in cap space remaining. They could have done a little bit more work in free agency, but I really don't think it was that pressing. They did have the 28th ranked scoring defense. So the defense remains a potential issue. You picked up Raekwon Davis, you re-signed Julian Blackmon, Kenny Moore, you pick up some intriguing, or you re-sign some intriguing secondary pieces. The defense is still a work in progress, but all I want to say is this. It all comes down to Anthony Richardson. And folks, with Latu, Colts general manager Chris Ballard laughed when he fell to pick number 15. He said this: we got the best effing rusher in the draft, guys. Latu. And here's the thing. The Colts had significant pass rush production last season. They had 51 total sacks as a defensive unit. Latu's 23.5 sacks over the past 2 seasons is the nation's top total in FBS football. It is the product of consistent pressure from 2023 All-American Lombardi Award winner that had him produce a 20% pressure rate in 2023. That was the second best in the country. It doesn't end just there. His 33.5 tackles for loss and 5 forced fumbles over the past 2 seasons. Guys, just because of his injuries, you got the best defensive potential prospect in the draft class. And Colts fans know this, and like NFL scouts know this, but jobs are on the line. You got to write the right articles and you got to say the right things. So you can't come out here like I am right here because I'm not, employed by the NFL or the Indianapolis Colts press. Like, I can tell you right here unbiasedly, I'm a Green Bay Packers fan. There's no point in lying to you. Latu is the best defensive prospect in the entire 2024 NFL draft class. It's as simple as that. So, yeah, their secondary maybe needed some work, maybe needed some new faces, which they ended up doing later on in the draft. But if Latu falls to pick 15, folks, if he didn't have these like career-ending injuries, Latu is undoubtedly a top 10 draft pick. Undoubtedly a top 10 draft pick. And then they followed it up in the second round, pick 52 with Adonai Mitchell. Folks, he had a 4.34 second 40-yard dash in the NFL scouting combine. He had a breakout season at Texas, 11 touchdowns, tied for the 5th most in a single season in school history. He also has 5 receiving touchdowns in college football playoff games in 3 combined seasons at both Georgia and Texas. That's second in FBS. And he averaged 15.4 yards per reception in 2023, with nearly 20% of his receptions coming on vertical routes. The reason that's important is because Anthony Richardson said he wants to air it out this season. So when I look at the Colts and I look at their offseason, it's like, all right, pretty much you only lost Gardner Minshew, Zach Moss, and Jacob Martin. You picked up Latu, Mitchell, Gonzalez from the draft. You picked up a couple of players in free agency like Joe Flacco, Davis, whatever. You re-signed a couple of players on your secondary specifically. But the Colts went 9-8 with a backup QB. And I'm not saying Gardner Minshew's a bad quarterback, because obviously he's not. And Vegas can be very happy even if he's their backup QB. But what I am trying to say is the backup quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts led them to a 9-8 record. This roster is way better than a lot of people think. Their defense is way younger than a lot of people think. Don't be fooled by that 28th ranked scoring defense statistic. Jesus, what am I, acoustic? Anyways, you're giving Jelani Woods another one of these intriguing players. Injuries. If he's healthy and he can play 17 games for the Indianapolis Colts, he will emerge as tight end 1, and it won't even be close. But you re-sign Michael Pittman, you drafted Adonai Mitchell, and you have Josh Downs. Here's a crazy, non-fun, but the kind of fun stat. Josh Downs led the Colts in drops last season. I believe it was 5. A lot of people blamed guys like Alec Pierce or Michael Pittman on drops. Josh Downs was a rookie, and he had a phenomenal rookie season. And yes, he did have some down moments. He did have some drops, but his future is so bright. Folks, you have Mitchell, Downs, and Pittman as your receiving core. It's one of the best, youngest receiving cores in the National Football League. So I'm looking at this schedule, and I'm like, the schedule doesn't actually even really matter. All I need to know is if the Indianapolis Colts have their franchise quarterback. And the only way I will know that is if Anthony Richardson can play at least 14 games. I'm very, very bullish on the Indianapolis Colts. Give me a win-loss projection record. I'm going to go 10-7. Pencil me in right here, right now. May 19th. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button, hit that sub button, and we'll see you soon. Peace.